Rising food prices, supermarkets that are deemed too big and powerful to let small players in. It's why the Grocery Commissioner got his job almost 2 years ago, and today he is moving to try to disrupt some of that power imbalance. Pierre van Heerden is with me in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
So a couple of things you're looking at doing, and I say looking because it's consultation and nothing's set in stone yet. But one of the things you're looking at doing is stopping the suppliers from offering specials or discounts to the supermarkets. You say that the suppliers are basically handing over $5 billion a year so that supermarkets will discount products. How is that anti-competitive?
First, I'd like to say I really acknowledge the mums and dads who are struggling to put food on the table in these times. What we are doing is pulling the levers that are available to us to make sure that we can change gradually over time, because our purpose is to get change over the long term and it needs to be sustainable. So today I've got two issues that we're raising. The first is, as you say, the rebates and discounts of $5 billion that are being paid by suppliers to the supermarkets. And the second is a change to the grocery code to prevent supermarkets pushing their costs onto suppliers. And these are things like wastage, stocking of shelves, etc.
Okay.
So when we look at the...
We'll come to that second part in a second. But just with this idea, so the suppliers are giving $5 billion in discounts to the supermarkets,
yes,
who are then... That's why we have specials, right? While your chocolate bars are $1.99 when you go. How is getting rid of those going to make my shopping experience cheaper?
What we are saying is there's $5 billion that is exclusively given to the duopoly. Other players in the market don't have access to that. That is why you get smaller retailers going into other retailers to buy things on special.
But that's economies of scale. That's economies of scale because they are bigger. If you're buying in bulk, I mean, you and I would experience that too, right? If you buy in bulk, you get it cheaper.
Those are rebates. The majority of that $5 billion is actually promotions. It's specials. It's not because of volume. So when we look at that, the wholesale regime that's been put into place isn't working effectively. And the main reason for that is these promotions aren't being available through the wholesale to other players. So we need to make sure that changes. Metcash in Australia, as an example, have done that. So there's no reason why we can't do that.
So how much will we save by you doing this?
I haven't got an exact figure on savings, but there'll be more competition in the market. And what we're driving is competition.
How do you know that? How do you know that if you don't even know how much of the $5 billion is adding to our bills or not?
Well, we know that because competition drives better pricing, better innovation, and better availability. So if a smaller operator can get that, it will help them compete. Every single large competitor who has spoken to me, who's looking at the market, first thing they raise is getting access to groceries at a reasonable price.
Okay.
And they can't because the major supermarkets and the suppliers are working together on the promotions. The promotions are controlled by the suppliers.
So this will mean, for anyone watching, this will mean no more specials.
We're not saying no more specials, Ryan.
Well, $5 billion less.
What we're saying is that every 6 months, you shouldn't have something on special for 6 months. And that's what's happening.
Okay.
If you look at the way that they operate.
All right. What about the supermarkets? You're going to require them to keep records of certain activities charged, what they're charging suppliers, including promotions. They're going to have to keep records of their price conversations with suppliers as well. Is this not adding bureaucracy? I mean, if you're a new competitor looking at entering a market, I'm thinking, well, that's paperwork, that's bureaucracy, that's cost. That's going to add to my consumer's price.
If you look at the detail of it, what we are doing in the grocery code is actually simplifying it. We're taking things out. So what we're saying is there are carve-outs, like, for instance, costs which are being passed on, which we're saying no more. And then on some of these things like pricing, if you as a retailer are having those discussions and wanting more detail from your supplier, those need to be documented. We basically want them to stop in terms of the detail of it, like investment buying.
Okay. Can you understand why? I mean, we've had report after report after report. This is going to feed into consultation for 12 months, which will feed into another report in 2026. How long have you been in this role now?
2 years.
How much have prices come down because of your work?
Well, our sole purpose and focus is competition in the longer term. So there's no silver bullet in this. And this isn't just another report, Ryan.
Can you say, though, Ryan, you're very highly paid. You're very highly paid for what you do. You've been in the job for 2 years. Can you give us even an inkling of how much we might have saved? Is the role worth it?
I believe it is, and the government obviously believes it is. What we're doing is changing competition for the long term. During these 2 years, we've taken action against supermarkets, criminal charges. We've got 18 different open investigations running at the moment.
I don't doubt that, but has anything changed? Have
believe
prices
it is
come
changing.
down? Do people watching this at home feel like they are getting more affordable groceries? I think the answer would be no.
It's about competition, and competition drives those. If you look around the world, every single country is complaining about grocery prices. Ours is no different. What we want is the best value for our consumers.
Okay. Appreciate you coming on the program. Thanks very much for doing so.